Hello everyone, today we're presenting about glucose, which is one of the most important carbohydrates. Glucose is a monosaccharide, meaning it is a simple sugar and the basic building block of many complex carbohydrates. It is the main source of energy for living organisms, especially for the brain, muscles, and red blood cells.
The molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. Glucose is also known as a hexose sugar because it has 6 carbon atoms, and it is an aldose since it contains an aldehyde functional group. The structure of glucose can be represented in several different ways. The first is the Fischer projection, which shows glucose in its open chain or linear form. In this projection, the carbon atoms are arranged vertically with the aldehyde group at carbon 1 and hydroxy groups attached to the remaining carbons. The Fischer projection helps us understand the arrangement of functional groups and the stereochemistry of glucose. In aqueous solution, glucose usually exists in a cyclic form rather than a linear one. This cyclic structure is represented using the Haworth projection. In this form, the aldehyde group reacts with the hydroxy group to form a 6-membered ring known as a pyranose ring. Glucose can exist as two anomers, alpha glucose and beta glucose, depending on the orientation of the hydroxy group at carbon 1. Another way to visualize the structure of glucose is the ball and stick model. This model shows the two-dimensional arrangement of atoms and bonds, making it easier to see bond angles and the overall shape of the glucose molecule.
Physical properties of glucose. Glucose is a white odorless crystalline solid with a sweet taste about 70 to 75% as sweet as sucrose. It is highly soluble in water, slightly soluble in ethanol, and insoluble in ether. Its melting point depends on its form. Alpha-D-glucose melts at 146 degrees Celsius, while beta-D-glucose melts at 150 degrees Celsius. Glucose has a density of about 1.54 gram per cm³ at room temperature. In aqueous solution, it undergoes motor rotation until a stable optical rotation of positive 52.7 degree is reached. For the chemical properties, glucose has the chemical formula carbon 6, hydrogen 12, oxygen 6, and is classified as a hexose monosaccharide. It contains an aldehyde group and 5 hydroxyl groups, which make it chemically reactive. Glucose is a reducing sugar, so it gives positive benedict and valence tests. In aqueous solution, glucose cyclizes to form a stable 6-membered ring structure. Glucose is the main source of energy for cells. During cellular respiration, it is broken down to produce ATP, which powers cellular activities. Glucose also plays a structural role as it is a building block of cellulose, which forms plant cell walls. In animals, glucose is stored as glycogen, mainly in the liver, while in plants, it is stored as starch. In addition, glucose is involved in cell signaling and metabolic regulation.
All the preparation of glucose is using hydrolysis process. There are two types of preparation of glucose. The first one is from sucrose. We have to react it with water to break down into 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. For the second one is from starch. We also have to react it with water to break the bonds, yielding N molecules of glucose. There are some reactions of glucose which are oxidation, reduction, formation of glucoside, formation of ester, formation of ether, hydrolysis of glucoside, rough degradation, and lastly is Killiani-Fischer synthesis.
Glucose has many important applications in different fields. In the food industry, glucose is used as a sweetener and as a quick energy source in beverages, sport drinks, and fermented products such as bread and alcoholic drinks. In the medical field, glucose solutions are commonly used to treat hypoglycemia, dehydration, and as an energy source for hospital patients. In biotechnology, glucose acts as a main carbon source for microbial growth and fermentation processes. It is also used in biofuel production, biodegradable plastic, and green chemistry, making glucose important for sustainable and environmentally friendly technologies.
Glucose is the main source of energy for the human body. It supports essential functions such as brain activity, muscle movement, and overall metabolism. When consumed in appropriate amounts, glucose helps maintain normal bodily functions and provides energy needed for daily activities. However, excessive intake of glucose, especially from processed foods and sugary drinks, can lead to serious health problems. High blood glucose levels increase the risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases, mainly due to insulin resistance. This issue is not only a local concern, but also a global health challenge. Malaysia can be used as an example of how excessive glucose consumption affects public health. In 2025, national health screenings reported that about 33.9% Malaysian adults were obese, while another 33.8% were overweight, meaning more than half of the adult population carries excess body weight. Malaysia is also among the countries with the highest obesity rates in Southeast Asia, highlighting how diet-related health problems are becoming increasingly common worldwide. Therefore, glucose plays a dual role in health. It is essential for energy, but harmful when consumed in excess. Managing glucose intake through balanced diets is crucial in addressing obesity, diabetes, and other non-communicable diseases, both in Malaysia and globally.
Recent research from Stanford Medicine found that glucose has a role beyond providing energy. The study shows that glucose can act as a signaling molecule that controls stem cell differentiation and tissue regeneration. Instead of being used for energy, intact glucose binds to proteins that regulate gene expression, helping cells develop into specialized tissue such as skin. This discovery changes the traditional view of glucose metabolism and highlights glucose as an important regulator of tissue development. It also has implications for diseases like diabetes, where high glucose levels may affect wound healing, and cancer, where controlling cell differentiation could support new treatments. In 2025, care for type 2 diabetes improved with new treatments and technologies. Semaglutide Ozempic was approved to reduce heart and kidney risk, and access to it increased. Glucose monitoring also advanced with devices like the Dexcom G7 and the needle-free Biolink Shine, which provide real-time blood sugar tracking. Clinical trials show promising results as well. Orforglipron helped lower A1C and body weight, and the Catalyst trial found that mifepristone improved glucose control in certain patients. These advances show continued progress in managing type 2 diabetes.